So let's talk about why I believe the things that I believe about being followed, stalked, and thought control, right? Just the basics, right? Okay, so um, I did expose myself, my genitals, lots of times on primarily on the public train, and some other areas. Uh, and then sometimes in the beginning, I saw like people, I could see uh, staff. Um, like after a long time of doing that, there was some times that I saw staff, and they were sitting in a seat, not far from me, and they weren't doing anything. They weren't working or anything, but they were actively looking at me, trying to, uh, seemingly trying to flirt or start something, right? And you know, and also like in this particular instance, a good looking woman, girl, and so yeah, I immediately made the conclusion that, oh yeah, okay, so this looks like a setup, right? I wasn't like freaking out or anything. That seemed to make sense to me, just pretty calmly. And then what supported that conclusion was that, well, that I had done that a lot of times, and they probably been alerted to that fact. And also, I could see there happened to be security guard, further down, less visible in the other, like behind me there. I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And then, this a similar thing happened several times. Um, and then after that, um, the next thing that happened was like, oh wow, like a lot of police cars, right? Just and I don't mean at the same time, but like I remember in the early times, like a police car drove exactly to the crosswalk exactly when I walked over it from the train station into Oslo, right? And after that, it was like all the time, okay. And then like a few minutes later, another police car. A few minutes later, another one. A few minutes later, another one. Another one. Another one. Another one. A lot of them driving pretty close to me as well. Making it more obvious. Um, and then and then like eventually, and it kept increasing after that. It got more and more often until it was like every minute. You know, um, maybe even more at the most. I'm not sure. This is many years ago now, but at least it got to the point where I was like walking around the city, just minding my own business, and then I saw a police car, or at least, um, no, probably a police car actually, um, roughly every minute, right? Every minute for an hour, for several hours, every day, all right? And I was only out of going around the city for a few hours, right? The rest of the time I was at home, or not anywhere where they could easily drive by me visibly. So this was like the whole time I was outside, I saw a police car every minute. Like the whole time, wherever I was in Oslo. Like it didn't matter, right? In the center or far outside the center, you know, which seems weird in itself. And it's like, Yeah, okay, but maybe something dramatic or dangerous or something was going on, or an accident or a crime happened where you happened to be. Yeah, sure, once or twice, but not all the time. That's really impossible. And don't tell me it is possible, because that doesn't make any sense, right? That's not rational. Something dramatic doesn't happen exactly where I am all the time. It doesn't happen like in reality, and even more importantly, it definitely doesn't happen so often that the police would know about something happening around me constantly. Even if something did happen around me constantly, there's definitely no chance that police would know about all of those things happening around me constantly, right? Like, what are the coincidences? Oh, something happening there. Oh, there's a bomb threat there. Oh, a guy is dying here. Oh, someone is being killed over there. Oh, rape is happening over here. Like, Oslo is a reasonably peaceful city, right? It's a Norwegian city. It's pretty calm, actually. It's not, it's not a ghetto where things go down all the time. All right. But yeah, I still saw police cars all the time, right? And then that was when I was outside. When I was inside, then I heard the sirens all the time, because that was the only way they could, bother me when I was inside. Okay. So, lots of times every day I heard sirens, right? When I was inside, especially, you know. Also when I was outside, but much less actually, you know. But I still saw, but then I saw them instead way more frequently, you know. And there was like a lot, man, a lot, and this went on every day for years. I mean, maybe you could argue that it, like, one in a million, it would happen. You know, you would see police cars a whole day when you were in Oslo, right? Like, look, one person in all of Norway would see that, one day of his lifetime, but not every day for years. All right, it's just it's so statistically impossible without it being intentional that I cannot describe with words how unlikely it is. All right, you cannot seriously claim to believe that. That makes no sense. Right? And then there's the fact that it wasn't only police cars, but it was ambulances, fire trucks, helicopters, planes, even, which was like so crazy to me. What, they can control planes, where they go and when they go? Wow, It's like, whoa, this guy must be crazy because that's so unlikely. Well, yeah, I mean, you can claim that. That's what I saw. I mean, I agree with you. This is absurd. But it's like, I saw like planes, I heard first and foremost, so that I had to look up. And then I saw like planes above me all the time. And that all of these things are around me all the time is just impossible, without it being intentional. And you can claim that I was hallucinating. Fine. I don't think so. I don't have a reason to believe that I was hallucinating. All right. So fine. All of these, and there were the security guards and their cars, them driving around. Like, every time I was in a place where there was security, they showed themselves for me, right? And well, you can claim maybe it was a coincidence, but it's not a coincidence that it happens all the time. Okay, just isn't. A coincidence is something that happens once in a while. A coincidence cannot, by definition, cannot happen all the time. If it happens all the time, then it's a rule. Then it's, a habit. Then it's a consistent law, of physics or whatever. If it happens all the time, then it's intentional. If it happens just once in a while, sure, maybe a coincidence, but that wasn't the case. All right. You can claim that I imagined it, saw it everywhere because I was, hyper vigilant. Yeah, sure. But I did see it all the time. And if that is true, then that wasn't a coincidence, right? Because, and like every time I went into a mall, every time I went into the university, like every time I went anywhere, right? Even on the street, you know. Sometimes, the people that enforced the ticket sale for the public transportation in Oslo, it was pretty frequent that I met them as well. At most a couple of times a week, sometimes. And then there was the technology. They messed with my technology, which worked frustratingly bad, like a lot of the times, right? Like really, like crazy bad, and it stopped working for no reason, way before its time, and and this kept happening several times, right? And there was one time when I went out of storage on my phone. Okay, so then I couldn't record with the phone anymore what I was seeing. Okay, so I bought an Acer tablet and started recording with that. And then I was like, yeah, I should write down the file names and a brief summary of what they show, so that I have um, some measure of security against them deleting or altering them, right? Okay, so I started doing that, and very quickly after I started doing that, the tablet went black. Okay, so that doesn't make any sense because it was new and nothing, crazy had happened to it. Okay, so then I took it to the store and asked them, could you fix this without um, deleting what's on it? And they said they couldn't guarantee that. He gave me the impression that they probably were gonna delete what was on it. And so I was like, okay, I don't want that, so I'm not gonna, you know, um, do that. I chose not to do that, and that was stupid. In hindsight, that was really stupid. But at the same time, well, I thought, well, this is evidence, I guess. So it works like that. I still have that tablet, by the way. Okay, and I also have several of the phones that went dead for no reason. And there was another phone that I bought, like a really simple phone, old simple phone, not a smartphone at all, that I bought um, on the Norwegian, uh, you know, uh, used, the big site for the Norwegian used market, Finn.no, and I bought a phone there, and I started recording with that, and that stopped working after just a few hours, I think. And then there was the tablet I bought on Finn, which stopped working after a couple of days for no reason. First, it like immediately when I started using it, it was fine, and then shortly after that, it started. All the web pages I visited started going really slowly. It's like, oh, that's frustrating. So, okay, wait a minute. Yeah. Hei. Jeg tar opp en film, men ok, jeg kan se. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. Oh God, man.